Hello and welcome to this week's deck study. This is going to be a really fun deck study. I probably had more fun researching this than I have any other deck. We are going to look at the Les Melies Voyager deck, which just got released from the Legends Playing Card Company. Now, this is version 2 of this deck. Version 1, which I will put down right here, is an older deck. Now, the original deck was a Kickstarter project from Derek McKee, and it got picked up from Legends and re-released this year in a red. This is the Aurora Red. There's also a Space Blue color as well. So this is version 1. This is version 2. This is the new one. We're going to look at this one for the most part. Now, this deck study, as you guys know by now, I go way in depth into things that you're just not going to find on other deck reviews. So we're going to talk a lot about the meaning behind the deck and other things like that. So I mean, the cards themselves aren't that crazy. I mean, it's fairly standard, but like I said from the onstart, I had so much fun with this deck. It was just a blast, kind of getting in depth in the meanings and you know what these decks are all about. So really quickly, now that these came out, this deck is the more valuable of the two decks. The original Kickstarter deck, and I actually stumbled upon this deck just walking into a magic shop in my area probably about 9 months ago. I didn't think much of it. I just bought it, and they were pretty cool to look at. The artwork was really original, and didn't think a whole lot about it. And the funny thing is, in my deck giveaway that we just took a look at last week, I had one of the comments was I wanted a version 2 Melies deck in red, and I'm like, well, I don't know if it ever got released in red. And I did some digging, and I saw that it was about to get released again, and I was pretty excited. And I saw the specs, and I got it immediately. So let's talk about some background before we get into the cards. Again, the cards part of it is not going to take a whole lot of time, but just so you guys know what's going on with the deck and you know what the themes are and things like that. So this deck is an homage to Georges Melies, who was a filmmaker in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. He's like the godfather of special effects, right? He did all these crazy movies with science fiction themes, and he was one of the, you know, I don't want to say inventors, but I mean, special effects were kind of his thing for, you know, and again, I'm going to put a link actually in the description to the actual movie itself that this deck is based on. So I really encourage you guys to watch it. It's actually right before I did this, turn the camera on, I just watched it again. It's really funny. I mean, it's really cool, and check it out. So I'm going to put a link in the description to a movie called A Trip to the Moon. It was made in 1902 by Georges Melies, and this is the deck that it was based on that movie. And the images on the deck are pulled straight from the movie. I mean, it's amazing. It's really cool. So definitely check it out. I encourage you guys to watch. It's like 15, 16 minutes long, but it's really funny. It's really cool to kind of check it out, and you'll see from the images from the deck what I'm talking about. So real quick again, this started as a Kickstarter project. It got picked up by Legends, and the decks are definitely different. This United States Playing Card Company deck So it's more or less a bicycle stock, and pretty standard. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but this is the more valuable of the two decks. This is the new one, so I'm going to get rid of this for now, and we're going to concentrate on this one. Okay. Further background. Like I said, Georges Melies was a filmmaker. He was definitely infatuated with magicians and playing cards. Like I said, his the kind of, I guess, the crown jewel of his achievements was a movie called A Trip to the Moon, which is again what this deck was based on. And you see, if you can see on the old deck, let me pull that out one more time. The French translation right there. So let's get back focused on there. And again, but he was a creator, an artist. His movie house was called the Theater of Illusion. So he was definitely a magician. He was infatuated with magicians and magic and playing cards. In fact, in 1904, he made a movie called Les Cartes Vivantes, the living playing card. It was a comedy. So there was definitely a connection between Melies and playing cards, which is really, really cool. I just found that out as I was researching the deck. That's why this was so much fun to do. So there's your background and kind of the connection between Melies and the playing cards. So let's get into the deck itself. First of all, the colors are really fantastic. I got the red one. I tend to lean more toward the red colors than the blue ones when these different colored decks come out, but I'm going to just zoom in real close on that image right there. This is the most iconic image from the movie, A Trip to the Moon. Now what the movie is, it's right out of old school science fiction. These guys get on a rocket and they shoot it into the moon, and one of the big, special effects is the rocket going into the moon's eye. So this is straight out of the movie. This exact image is in the movie, which is really fantastic. And then you can see kind of the labels right there. There's a limited edition, Voyagers, which is the version of this deck. Pure Imagination Projects is the distributor of this deck now. Again, it was made by Legends Playing Card Company, which have done the Legends decks and some of the decks like that. You can check them out as well. I'll put a link in the description box to their website as well. Here's Pure Imagination Projects, who took over the distribution, and Legend Playing Card Company on the one side. Bottom, Legalese. There is your information right there. And I think it says on there, yeah, the deck designer. Deck designer is a guy named Logan Max. So there's that. Now here's a really cool feature from the seal. And here's your, under the seal, same thing as the old deck. The Voyage, however you pronounce that. I'm not even going to try it. Anyway, that same thing, the French translation to A Trip to the Moon. Under the seal. And you can see the Pure Imagination production seal. And here's the really cool part. The deck's actually numbered. So the version is numbered there. Really cool. Now this may be the best back design I've ever seen. I'm not sure, but the artistry is just amazing. I mean, this stuff, and again, it's straight out of the movie from 1902. That's the coolest part of this whole thing. So let's take a look at the cards. Here's one more moonshot on the flap. Now, this, again, it was made by the Legends Playing Card Company from Taiwan. And again, if you watch the Owl Eyes deck study and the Boardwalk Papers deck study, same card stock, exact same card stock as the Boardwalk Papers. It's a really thick, glossy, and smooth finished card. So it's really thick, but it's really smooth and shiny and slippery. They're really slippery. Performing, I mean, it may be an issue. If I've messed around with the Boardwalk Papers, it's a really slippery deck. and moves, you know, double lifts, things like that are kind of hard with it because the cards are so smooth and so slick. But just look at the color of this. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And again, all the artwork is straight out of the movie. I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to take a look at it. You can see some stars there. Again, the rocket into the eye of the moon is the main theme. You got the stars here, and you can see right there, you got some aliens. I'm going to try to zoom on that a little bit. And again, all this artistry and artwork is straight out of the movie. As you can see the aliens. So the guys build a rocket, they shoot it to the moon, and they meet this alien. Again, they kind of fight on the surface of the moon, which is really cool. And you know, again, I very highly encourage you guys to check out the movie. Again, the link will be in the description. So there's a back design. Again, it might be one of my favorite back designs. With the color, I love the red color, and just the artwork is very, very cool. Now, we're going to look at the cards, and again, it's going to be, yeah, you know, there's nothing really creative about it. A little color, but nothing crazy. You get 2 jokers. But as you can see, the red is a really light, faint red. Not a huge fan of that. And they're pretty they're all standard faces with some color change. But let's look at the jokers first. Again, this artwork is straight out of the movie. As you can see, these are the aliens with their spears. Again, straight out of the movie. You got Joker on the side and some Pure Imagination Projects information on the bottom. The other Joker's the same without the information on the bottom card. So there's your 2 jokers. But again, right out of the movie, really good artwork. Ace of Spades. You know, nothing special. Really cool, though. Again, Pure Imagination Projects. You got Les Melies, and it's black. Pretty standard. We can here. Let's look at some of the court cards. I'll just pull them out of the middle here, and you can see the faint. The color's really nice. It's you know, it's almost like a pink and gold. So the court cards look really good. I'm really happy with that. But you know, the pip, just the regular pip card, I don't really like the fainter. It's almost like an orange. It looks really weird. Not a big fan of that. But again, the deck is just so cool. And again, the story behind the deck it's almost 1 in a million. I mean, this is a really cool deck. So my advice would be to get it immediately. I love it. It you know, it caught me off guard that it got released again, because I've had this one for a while now, and as you can see, it's kind of the same. I'll just rip this out real quick, and this is the whole deck is standard. Oh, that's a double. You don't get any special cards with the new version, by the way. But again, it's the darker color. It's all standard. From the Kickstarter project, except for the jokers are the same and the ace is the same. If I can find it. No, I can't. I don't want to waste time looking at it. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This one really kind of blew me away, and again, I had so much fun researching this deck, and I hope you guys take something out of it. Again, the decks just don't come out for the hell of it. I mean, there's always something going on behind the scenes. There's always a reason for the designs. And I hate when I go on YouTube and look at decks, and the people that are doing the reviews don't say anything about the background. They don't say anything about why the deck was made. They just show you the cards, and that's it. I try to pride myself to give you guys a little bit more information, and I hope you guys take a run with it. But this deck it's a collector deck. I'm going to get a couple more myself because I really like them. But again, performing with them may be a little tricky. But this is a must-have. This is gonna rate highly, I think, at the end of the year. So that's it, guys. The Les Melies Voyagers Trip to the Moon deck. I hope you guys like it. I know you will. Get the deck. It's amazing and it's awesome. And watch the movie. It's a really good piece of history. So there you go. Have a good one, guys, and we'll see you out there.